Welcome to Breakfast Central. Today is another day and definitely it's filled with a lot of stories. If you enjoyed the broadcast of that special interview with Blessings Musugu yesterday, well, guess what? We will be continuing it later on today, especially the part 2. But that's the story for another day. Today is today, and today we are here to talk about all the latest stories that's happening from yesterday, possibly maybe in the next few hours. My name is Joe Hansen. Good morning.
And I'm Benga Borough. Welcome to the midweek edition of Breakfast Central. We have a lot for you, as always, on the show. Dramatic scenes in Abuja yesterday. Trust us to give you the latest gist on that, and also insightful analysis and breakdown of all the news that matters to you. Today is Wednesday. You know what that means. It's Which Way Nigeria. And today we will be looking at special treatment for Nigerians serving in prisons abroad, especially one famous Nigerian, which has garnered a lot of reactions. We'll be giving you details of that later. And Benga Borough, welcome to the program.
Right, and it's great to be here. Remember that we're streaming live on Breakfast Central. We do this every day. We always want to see your comments, so please head to YouTube to drop a comment about any of the stories. We're going to be starting on a very interesting note with what's happened in Abuja yesterday, and it was a face-off. You're a fool, I'm not a fool. Keep quiet. Cannot keep it quiet. But anyway, we're going into the details of that, as that will be our wake-up conversation. My name is Orji Kalu, and you're welcome to Breakfast Central.
You know, I have to compliment you guys this morning. I don't know if anyone has seen you. I don't know if anyone has told you. You guys look young, wild, and free, like you're Peng, as Gen Zs would say. You're looking like Miley Cyrus. He's looking like Justin Bieber.
Wow.
And you are looking like Idris Elba.
Wow.
Yes.
Clock it.
Clock it, per. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So
They ain't seen nothing yet.
story.
In the words of the newly minted elected governor,
Chukuma Charles
Soludo, former governor of Central
Like the
Bank of
Americans would
Nigeria.
say,
The Americans would say, you ain't seen nothing yet.
You know that song, right? You ain't seen nothing yet.
I'm gone. No.
I'm telling you that you ain't seen nothing yet.
There's a
It's the one
generational
I
gap
know.
here.
There's really a generational gap. The one I know is an Olamide. You ain't seen nothing, but I'm going to tell you something.
Sorry, we
My
don't know
friend,
that one. We know the international one. Talk
Yeah,
to
the
me.
international one. Bro, let's go international. Let's not stay local, you know what I mean?
Okay, let's go
okay,
for
let's
that.
carry along. So, I don't know what side of the bed you guys will come on, but it's a big story. When you guys stumbled on that story, what came to your mind?
There's no need to talk about the story first. Let's take a look at the video, then we can come to the story.
We did not carry anybody's.
The man took the Arab, we will not allow because he was taken over and then for you to carry land.
Sir, everything was acquired legally.
Will you stop
and so
that?
you get the.
Will you stop that?
Sir, I'm an officer, I have integrity.
Shut up, you're not good
Sir, I
officer.
will not shut up.
Will you get up?
Sir, I won't shut up. Sir, I'm a
I
commissioner,
was in
sir.
school, you're not in school.
Sir, you can't shut
Will
me
you
up.
keep quiet?
You can't
Get
shut
a
me
big
up, sir.
fool.
I'm not
You are a
a
big fool.
I'm not a fool,
You
sir.
can shoot anybody like
Sir,
that.
I'm not
You
a
are big
fool.
fool.
I am not a fool, sir.
As for the time I graduated, you were in primary school.
I'm acting on orders.
Take for which
You can't
order?
call me a fool.
And this year, you will see whether you love this year.
Sir, you can't call me a fool.
You have to develop your
I'm an
mind,
officer.
develop
I'm not a fool, sir. I'm an officer.
You would have killed everybody here.
No, we won't kill anybody. We won't kill anybody. We are acting on orders.
Go and develop your life this year.
Regular officer, you want to come in for a bit?
We are going to get out.
Hello, sir. Morning, sir. I'm fine, thank you, sir. Sir, yes, sir. Afternoon, sir. I'm Navy Lieutenant Nyesom Wike, security officer to Vice Admiral from Boko Haram. Yes, sir. So I'm here on the orders. Yes, sir. I'm here on the orders. Sir, we mobilized the site a couple of days ago, sir. And then the engineer kept telling us that policemen are coming to embarrass them and harass them. And they've been coming to threaten them that if they don't leave, to strike them, to arrest them and all. And then he brought it to our attention. So as the security officer to the Vice Admiral, I was called and then we acted. Sir, We are not doing anything illegal. We are here on the order to supervise adherence. That's it. Ours is just to come and explain.
Stop this here. This is government property. Show me the document you have. You have no document.
So we have documents.
Bring the document.
We have documents and everything has been submitted, sir.
Excuse me. I'm the minister.
Yes, sir.
You cannot tell me. You cannot tell me that. We cannot continue to act in this impunity. Where your approval even to build. You cannot continue this way. This country cannot continue along this line. How can that man at his level, even if he has a problem, he cannot reach me and say, look, I'm sorry. See what I have. You will send soldiers to intimidate who? We are all from this country. And this is government. You cannot be higher than any government. You cannot be carrying gun to intimidate people to not to do their work. Let me tell you, if not going to chief of defense staff who spoke to me now, you could have killed everybody here. No problem. I'm not one of those that they can intimidate.
But the contrary,
I'm doing my job.
Sir, you are not intimidating anybody.
That's what you're doing.
The civilian, the engineer mobilized to site, and then staff or workers of FCDA, look at this. You're coming to intimidate them.
No, listen now. That is the
Threatening
problem.
them. And that was when the admiral gave the order.
He cannot give order against government.
Because the papers are complete and he said it's submitted.
Are you the
them.
one? Listen, you know the problem you have. Are you the one that will say, paper, which show me that you are old? First of all, show me that government gave you this place. Two, show me that you have an approval to build what you are building. It has nothing to do with, I'm a vice admiral, I'm a lieutenant general. That is not it. We must work according to law. We must work according to law.
We forwarded everything to me.
And
Yes,
to who? To who?
No, you don't tell like this. Don't tell like this.
Don't you try it.
Don't try it. Don't try it. Don't try it. Don't tell me. Don't try it.
Don't tell me I'm lying.
You can't have my picture. Who are you?
You can't try it. I'm a commission officer. You can't try it. And so on. So on. You're MNI. Because you're MNI. Do I look like that? You can talk. Because I don't have time to talk to you. I'll talk to you. You can see. You can't talk in any time. I said I forward. I'm a small boy, but the commission I'm carrying is very confusing. Very confusing.
Drama.
Let's take a deep breath. Everybody in, out. So, this is a continuation of the series of land revocation that the Minister of the FCT has been on in the FCT. And you can see that he's gotten there, asked for the relevant documentation, and he moved into a verbal confrontation. If you see other clips of the video, we are not able to play some of them. It got physical at some point as some men on Nyesom Wike's team pushed the military officer who was securing the property. He retaliated, sort of, and it was a lot of back and forth. There was also the time when the FCT minister called him a fool, and he said, "I'm not a fool, sir." And he told him, "Shut up." He said, "Cannot shut me up, sir." And the reaction has been one that has made Nigerians ask ourselves, couldn't there have been a better way to resolve that, as opposed to descending into the arena of using abusive words on each other? The first right, one of the rights we have, is the right to the dignity of human person. Everybody deserves to be respected, and regardless of your authority, you deserve to show leadership. Leadership is exemplary, and in showing leadership, it's the way that you treat our law enforcement agents, our military men. These are gallant military men that are deserving of respect and regard. And if you're not in support of how, of the approval process, somebody puts him there, you take it up with his superior. There's a chain of command. Even in our offices, we all have chains of command. We all have our line managers that we report to.
Exactly.
Right. So you cannot demand, you can't act lawless and demand some form of respect. There are people who have started calling for the army man to be fired. I would think that the honorable minister would lead by example, and leading by example would not necessitate the whole, do you know when I was this, you were in second, you hadn't even gotten into school. all that wasn't necessary. That could have simply been handled. You don't descend into the arena, of chaos and combat, because he was being very professional. And I think we should applaud the military personnel for how he carried himself respectfully.
He's a highly trained commissioned officer of the Nigerian Navy, and he was still very polite, even in the face of insults. And,
yes.
Kept his dignity, was steadfast.
The only time he lost it was when the police person then spoke to him and he said, no, you, don't try it. I can respect the honorable minister, but don't try it.
It was just eye service on the part of the police personnel with the minister. But like you rightly said, all of this could have been avoided in the first place if people had followed due process and the chains of command. I don't understand why the FCT minister had to go there personally. I guess he wanted to see who owns this plot that has been giving us issues. There were talks about documentation and what have you, but it didn't have to descend to that low level of, hurling verbal insults on a commissioned officer of the Nigerian Navy. It didn't really, it's not conduct you expect of a serving minister, and of course a barrister of a lawyer.
Nyesom Wike, yes.
At that, so I hope they resolve it. We learned that the plot belongs to the property, rather belongs to a former chief of naval staff, and it also questions the use of military personnel. He's retired, he's a private citizen, so why do you have military personnel, guarding his property? So there are different layers to this, but I'm happy the situation de-escalated. The honourable minister said he put a call to the chief of defence staff.
Yeah, I think we also
it
have
didn't
that
descend into chaos, because from the temperament of the honourable minister, he said, "You're lucky that I just got off the call with the CDS. Otherwise,
it would have killed everyone.
It would have the Navy people would have killed everybody. So they were ready for confrontation and do your worst sort of scenario."
Well, whether we like it or not, if we see a situation like that, it borders on two things. One, you've highlighted it, same with Olive, that could there have been another way to handle the situation of things. The second one is the minister doing too much? Because whether we like it or not, you go on social media, you find people talking. Bear in mind that the FCT minister is a minister, which simply means that he's also like the minister of power. He's also like the minister of the blue economy and so on. However, he has his task cut out for him, which is to ensure that Abuja turns into what, of course, the master plan is. But we've seen in the past few months, people have been reacting negatively on social media concerning the way and manner in which the FCT minister has been bulldozing houses, tearing down properties. And the saddest part is the alleged one that some of these properties have been given to his sons. We did have his SSA come here on the show on Breakfast, and we asked him a clear question. Were these properties given to the sons? And he denied it in clear terms. He said those documents were fake. But later on, the minister himself said, is it wrong to give his sons land? Is it wrong? Now, I keep saying it, the optics, the timing, and so on. What do you think others, how do you think others would feel? Remember the case of Rita Lori. Remember so many of them and so on and so forth. These cases, could there have been a better way to handle them? Now, there are rumors all over the place that some of these properties have been confiscated or have been, seized and so on, and then they are now being given to others, which many, from that side, it has not been denied. But then again, whether we like it or not, it is not a good sight. And I'm happy that a former chief security officer has also come out to speak. A lot of people are now talking about that same incident. But let's get to see one of them. Tukur Buratai has spoken. In case you don't know, well, he's actually the former chief of Army Staff. He's also spoken, and he put out a long post on social media. And let me quickly see if I can find what he said.
I think we
just in case we don't have it on screen.
Please, let's have, General Tukur Buratai's Facebook post.
Yes, let's take his Facebook post. I'm just going to read it. This is someone else who was reacting. This is another reaction from, of course, the embattled lawyer as well. But let's listen to this.
Colleague.
Yes, let's listen to this, and then we'll come back and take a former chief of Army Staff's statement.
Officer A.M. Yeriman, who has stood tall
in the face of verbal abuse and intimidation by the ever-power drunk Nyesom Wike, who is generally very badly behaved. He does not seem to understand that public office should come with responsibility. Ordinarily, the military should not be anywhere close to protecting land or property of anyone. But when we are dealing with people like Nyesom Wike, who take the law into their hand, who break the law at will, since he became FCT minister, he has been above the law. The law is clear that you cannot revoke Mr. A's land and give it to Mr. B. You can only revoke land in overriding public interest. Maybe you want to build an airport, a railway, a road, a hospital. But what Wike has been doing is he has been revoking ordinary people's land and giving it to his children, his friends, his political allies. And this is wrong. The only reason why we are hearing of this now is that he has gone to touch the land of a powerful man. He has been doing it to thousands of people since he became minister, and nobody has had the guts or courage to stop him. One of the reasons why Goodluck Jonathan, that I had, Goodluck Jonathan wants to contest against President Tinubu is because Wike went ahead and revoked his land. Why would you go and revoke Jonathan's land? For what? On what basis? You understand? And he revokes people's land, then give it to other people in contravention with the law. So when you live in a society where law is not respected, then you have no other option but to resort to self-help. And that is not to say that anyone is encouraging resort to self-help. But Wike is badly behaved. The company that was allocated this land that Wike went to invade to take, Santos Properties and its subsidiaries, they got allocation for 10 hectares in 3 places. That's 30 hectares. They were the one that cleared the land.
Well, that's a long one, but let's go straight to former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, retired. What he said, this is what he said in a statement verified on his Facebook page on Tuesday. He said, the FCT minister, accompanied by senior officials of the Federal Capital Development Authority, had visited the site to halt what he described as illegal construction. Now, in his statement, he said, hold on, let me get that part. I'm just trying to speed up and get the right part and take the points. He said, he insisted no individual, regardless of their military affiliation, was above the law. Now, he says you are in uniform and you're telling me that Navy owns the land, that's from Wike and so on. However, Buratai's reaction, here it is. He said, the minister's tone and public rebuke of a uniformed officer amount to a reckless act that strikes at the core of Nigeria's command and control structure. They went on to say a minister's verbal assault on a military officer in uniform is an act of profound indiscipline that strikes at the very foundation of our national security apparatus. It is not political theater. It is a reckless endangerment of national order. That's just an excerpt from what he had put out on his Facebook
says it all,
page.
coming from the highest echelon of military command.
Yeah.
He got to the peak of his career as Chief of Army Staff. And if you do recall, it's a privilege. It's not everybody that gets to become a regular commissioned officer of the armed forces. And the president of the country is always present at their personnel parade. Yeah. So it's the president's commission. So for you to treat, it's not an NCO, it's not a non-commissioned officer, it's not a recruit, it's not an other rank, he's an officer. For you to publicly rebuke him in uniform. And then tell him you're a fool. Yes, it really strikes at the heart of command and control. If you recall an incident that happened in Lagos State, a colonel, senior army officer, took the BRT lane and was stopped by Rajiv Fashola, the then governor of Lagos State. He came out of his car. He knew it was wrong, gave him a salute, and I'm sure they had a way to, deal with it. But he knew it was in the wrong. That's how to behave. Former Governor Fashola didn't, insult him and use certain words on him because he was in uniform. And you expect better from the FCT.
Let's see what Nigerians are saying about this. We've shared our thoughts. Let's see what they're saying on X, and then we'll move to our next story. Our first tweet, he says, this is so embarrassing, but deep down, I like how Wike stood his ground. I also respect the soldier for following orders from above and doing his job, even if it meant stopping someone important as Wike from inspecting the land. The soldier won't get in trouble. Wike needs to talk to the soldier's boss. It's a power game, and whoever has the president's support wins. Facts. Next one, this is a young man, Lieutenant Yerima, that challenged FCT 001, His Excellency Wike. Is Wike? Which one is Wike?
You're symbolizing it.
The young officer has no respect for constituted authority. This is unacceptable. His uniform should be removed ASAP, like according to Joe Igbokwe. The military's primary responsibility so this is a very key point that I wanted to mention. Yes, I'm seeing this here. The military's primary responsibility is to safeguard the country's borders, but instead it's devoting resources to protect a parcel of land for a high-ranking officer allegedly acting on orders. This pathetic scenario is the pervasive self-interest among officials who cater to the interest of a privileged minority at the expense of national protection, with Governor Wike not being an exception. As Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, too, once stood in the way of the EFCC officers, gun blazing, stopping them from arresting a corrupt judge friend of his. What a country. And then the next tweet says...
Guns blazing.
Guns are blazing. First of all, heroic exploits no they pay for Niger. Guy no they go anywhere. If he has disgraced the minister in a bold attempt to appear woke, his career would derail sooner or later. You get why. And the next tweet says, bravo indeed. The officer showed calm professionalism and respect for the uniform while standing his ground. Acting on lawful orders isn't foolish, it's duty. True courage is measured by discipline under pressure. And I think a final tweet, Wike made that call after telling Yerima he's getting himself into trouble. Asked everyone to shush in reverence to the CDS. Gave the phone to the soldier saying this is the CDS, like the soldier was supposed to shiver, and then ended up leaving the site. Soldier stood. So I think a final way to wrap up this thought process would be, regardless of who was correct, Nyesom Wike or the soldier, there are appropriate ways and channels to handle issues that we are not comfortable with. We must bear in mind that this is not our parents' and grandparents' generation, where the older people would speak and just churn down orders. Respect goes both ways. It goes from top to bottom and from bottom to the top. And sometimes what can help is an exemplary way of showing respect. In this case, His Excellency, Nyesom Wike should have shown better display of respect.
I mean, I have nothing to add.
Let's not rush. We still have this topic.
From what you've said, honestly, you have said it all. Let me just...
But you both have shared your ideas.
No, but the way you wrapped it up, I think we should just end the show.
Okay, we should go home.
Let's go home.
Let's go to another story.
She has said it all.
Former Abia Governor Orji Kalu has publicly backed U.S. military intervention in Nigeria's fight against terrorism.
Have you seen his mansions in America? It has to.
Saying it is a necessary measure to protect citizens and curb the growing insecurity. He was speaking in Abuja and he described the recent U.S. actions as timely and urged Nigerian authorities to cooperate fully with global partners, emphasizing that defeating terror requires both national resolve and international support. He also stressed that the violence affects all Nigerians, regardless of religion or region, and that decisive steps must be taken to safeguard lives and restore peace. And that's him speaking there.
If they come say, I will also disclose myself fully. I'm pro-America. So for anything I will say, know that it will be pro-America. Did what Donald Trump says is a lie? The answer is yes. It's not a lie because Donald Trump said the truth. Nigerians are being killed, whether they are Christians or Muslims. Are they not being killed? If they kill people in Plateau, they go to a church in Plateau, those they will kill are Christians. If they go to Benue, the majority of people they will kill in Benue are Christians. If they go to Zamfara, majority of people they kill in mosque there are Muslims. So these people are jihadists. These people just want to destroy Nigeria. So we should call a black name on them without any pity. They will be smoked out. Let me also tell you, the American president cannot talk anyhow. In my own little way, I have spoken to two former presidents, one Republican and one Democrat, and they all agree that they will help. I've spoken to about 6 senators, sitting senators in the U.S. Congress. So they've all said, we will help you people. But let me tell you, before President Trump says a word, mind you that the American intelligence community must have found out where these people are living. All these words we are talking is rhetoric. And you can see Nigerian Air Force, possibly the information that has been given to them, by the U.S. authorities and say they are there. And you see Nigerian Air Force in the last 3 days bombing the homes of these people. And that is what it should be. We should not pity anybody who is a terrorist.
And that there is his position regarding the alleged intervention of the United States, a move that has garnered mixed reactions from Nigerians. But let's quickly head to X and see what Nigerians are saying about this. Anything I will say, you know it's pro-America. That was the funniest part of that.
I mean,
interview.
for seven senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Anything I will say, you know it's pro-America.
Your sovereignty and your
Oga,
integrity?
you don't want the U.S. government to seize or freeze your assets in America. Nothing like pro-America big. Joe says, like, Oga Wisabi Ball. This is the only good thing this man has said since he joined the APC, Stephen Oyin's clerk says. And I remember when he was governor of Abia State, he fought very well for the Christians and he was against criminals too. He loved his people very much, and I do not know what went wrong now.
So when he was governor of Abia State, he fought very well for the Christians. Did they have any issues with Muslims there? And Abia State is a majority Christian state, so I don't understand what he means by he fought very well for the Christians.
The fear of Kalu losing all his properties in America is the beginning of wisdom, Steve Yankee says. Now, this whole Nigeria issue started because the U.S. said they were going to intervene to stop the killing of Christians. Now, if you want to find out what the latest on that is, we had an interview, an exclusive interview with Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo, who was the person that made the video that started this movement. And we had him here live on News Central, where he explicitly detailed the first-hand encounter of what it feels like to live in the middle belt of Nigeria. We played the first part of the interview. We're playing the second part, so please tune in to News Central at 7 p.m. this evening. And now let's move on to our next story. Controversy has erupted in the Senate over a proposed ban on sachet alcohol and small bottles starting December. Senator Godswill Akpabio of Akwa Ibom, who presides as the Senate President, will have the final say. But the motion was raised by Senator Prince Bassi of Cross River State. And critics have argued that the move goes beyond NAFDAC's mandate to regulate alcohol, warning that banning these products could fuel unemployment in regions dependent on their production and distribution, and may even push some youths toward banditry. Many are asking, if regulation is possible, why make Nigerians the problem themselves?
I mean, there's a multi-billion naira industry, and NAFDAC also makes a lot of money from the registration of this sachet drinks. What we should be enforcing is sale to underage people, the abuse of it, and the sales in motor parks and things like that. I don't think, if you're going to argue for the ban of sachet alcohol, then why not? I mean, what's the difference in leaving bottles and other brands of alcohol? You could as well just ban all alcoholic beverages in the country.
I'm sorry, I agree with the ban, 100%. Most accidents that happen on the road, the drivers, every morning, these drivers wake up with these sachets.
Motor pack.
Yeah, they wake up with these sachets, and the sachet constitutes a lot of drainage challenges. They there's so many. It's anyway. Let's see what Nigerians are saying. It's because of time. Let's see what Nigerians are saying. Most importantly,
I want to know Olive's position on this.
Galaxy. And again, let NAFDAC agency educate Nigerians on how to identify fake foods and drugs, because all these things have a NAFDAC number, yet they're fake. You would just buy it thinking it's good since it has that number, not knowing it's fake.
Two of you are you sure you take a little of that sachet before coming to work?
We don't do that here. We don't do that here at all.
Okay.
NAFDAC is to regulate, not to ban. Why are we the problem of ourselves in this country? Senator from Calabar State raises the motion, and Senate President
Calabar
from
State.
Akwa Ibom do the I don't understand. I really don't get it. Larry, sometimes, let's move away from that statement. A law that will make people stop producing fake foods in this country. 10 years child in Nigeria suffers kidney problems, all because of fake foods and drug. I think the Senate should have done the best by making it a death sentence for anybody found producing or selling fake foods.
Okay, this is another thing.
This is another angle. That one is this. You're dealing on food.
Fake, exactly.
Now we're talking about beverage. A major public health step for Nigeria, limiting sachet and small bottle. Remember when we used to call it sachet? Anyway, limiting sachet and small bottle alcohol could curb harmful drinking and youth exposure, but success will depend on strong enforcement and public awareness. Here is my take. To be honest with you, NAFDAC here put out their own post and said, NAFDAC has reaffirmed its commitment to fully enforce the ban on the production and sale of alcoholic beverages in sachet and small bottles below 200 ml by December 2025. This decisive action aligns with the Senate's directive and reinforces NAFDAC's mandate to protect public health, particularly among children, adolescents, and young adults from the harmful effects of alcohol misuse. And that's it. And for me, I approve. Yes, I agree.
Okay, I don't think they should throw away the baby and the bathwater. Like
I agree.
Said,
Approve.
Designated areas, it shouldn't be sold, and there should be public awareness.
You are not in America. You are not in the UK, where if you're going to buy alcoholic beverages, you have your ID with you.
Exactly.
This is
we don't even
Nigeria.
know.
Every nook and cranny, they are selling these small green bottles. And you will see them, they take it from their pocket, they press it with their dirty tongue. You see them, the Okada rider is riding and he's in his pocket, he brings it out, he takes it, puts it back in.
Will stop something they're used to? They will start drinking the 200 ml and they will be drinking at a higher quantity.
No, but the 200 ml is more expensive. That's fine, drink the 200 ml, but you see the problem with the 200 ml, you cannot put it in your pocket.
But how do we then ensure that these things are not sold at the parks and places where vehicles? Because the first and only time I've had an accident in my life, it was on a bike. I still have the scar on my arm. It was on a bike. I got into the bike. I could smell that he was oozing of alcohol. But I was very naive. I felt like I didn't want to offend him, so I didn't say anything. I got into it. Unfortunately, we had an accident, but it wasn't his fault. But maybe he would have been able to stabilize himself more, maybe, if he hadn't taken alcohol. That one was a bus that just hit us and it was a very bad accident. So how we can prevent this from getting to our parks is another conversation. But you let us know your thoughts. Our social media handles are showing on the screen. You can tweet at us and let us know, are you in support of the ban of sachet alcohol, or we should just let the people breathe? Or do I say sip? Let's share with you what our headlines this morning are on Breakfast Central. The federal government has imposed a 15% import duty on petrol and diesel, a move it claims will protect local refineries and drive energy independence, but civil society organizations are not buying it. They say this is not reform, that it's economic sabotage. The question is this strategic industrial policy or a monopolistic power grab? Is the government shielding local production or shielding a refinery monopoly? And most importantly, who bears the brunt of this policy?
Join us this morning for this very important discussion is Professor Emeritus Petroleum Economics, Professor Wunmi Iledare. A warm welcome to you, sir, and thank you so much for joining us on Breakfast Central this morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Now, Prof, let's get straight into it. The 15% levy is expected to raise fuel prices by nearly 100 naira per litre in a country already grappling with inflation and subsidy removal fallout. Is this not economic cruelty disguised as policy? Should this still be coming at this point in time?
Very valid question. Honestly, and I can understand the pain and the anticipation. But let's look at it more critically and think beyond a short-term pain. Sorry for my voice.
It's okay.
That's fine.
I think we need to be looking at things from a long-term perspective. Prosperity without posterity is inconsequential. But there's no gain without pain. I'm not going to look at levy from the point of view of protection. I look at it more from a competitive approach to building the economy of Nigeria. For many years, we have depended on upstream, exporting crude. Now, we want to try to see if we can export final product. Don't get me wrong. I understand there will be pain, but I want us to keep it in perspective. Look at every country around us. There's nowhere you are going to find a liter of petrol less than 1,000 naira, except Nigeria. Ghana is about 1,500. Benin is about 1,800. Togo is about, so 100 naira more is not going to kill us. My major concern, though, is consistency in policy. And I know that quite often we can't bear a little pain for more gain. And I'll listen to your additional questions so that we can have more time to exchange. I look at this tariff as a fiscal policy and instrument to expand final output out of Nigeria, rather than looking at it as a curative. But I'm speaking from a petroleum economist point of view. It cannot create monopoly. It cannot be a protectionism. It is a drive towards making refineries in Nigeria competitive, as long as it's not permanent and reviewable along the line.
Okay. Civil society organizations did come together yesterday, and they are of the opinion that adding 15% tariff at this time will only, apart from deepening hardship, it will also risk public unrest. Take, for instance, they say that the 15% introduction will actually contradict the very spirit of deregulation, which the government is trying to enforce and push. And they also feel that when they implement this 15% tariff, it is also not going to help because it would further stop the dismantling of cartels, which simply means only a few will be able to carry out or stay in the business. But let's take a look at this video during a press briefing they had yesterday, and we'd like you to react to it once we return.
We have said that the government should reverse this policy and desist from implementing it because it says it's going to start implementing it in January. We are saying that it should actually stop the implementation. And we have given the reason. And just so people understand that we are not necessarily against policies of tariffs, we have also said that if we get to a situation where and when domestic refining is meeting the bulk of our domestic needs, then it makes sense to impose tariff on imports. The challenge is that if you do that right now, it means that you are assuming that there will be a transition period, but you are not making a provision for that transition period. And so you are expecting that everybody should go and, on their own.
The government risks creating artificial scarcity, causing inflation, and undermining deregulation, which was meant to open and not close the market. Our call today is straightforward. The federal government must suspend or reject the proposed tariff, expose and correct its economic, social, and ethical flaws, and educate the public on the dangers of monopolies in vital sectors like cement and food. Above all, it must promote transparency and fair competition to protect consumers, workers, and small businesses across our country.
Okay, Prof, I'm sure you've heard of the fears mentioned there by the civil society organizations. What's your take on that?
Well, thank you again. I do not have anything against the expression of fears. But then my major concern is the principle behind the fear. Let's look at monopoly. That's not true. You have an oligopoly market. You don't have a monopoly market. This is where government comes into play. If they are really afraid, they should target it to the government, not necessarily to the investors. And that has been the case with civil society and unions. It is your government that you need to hold to the table with respect to being consistent in policy. I'm more afraid of government failure an intervention that will make life difficult for people. But I'm not afraid for a government that wants to promote market for domestic expansion. I look at where we find ourselves today as a nation is because of union, thinking more about now than tomorrow. If we have deregulated the markets in 2012, Nigeria will not be where it is today. If we had moved away from dual exchange rate, Nigeria will not be where we are today. Listen, the law, which is the PIA, and I happen to be fortunate to have insight into it, has leverages against monopoly. That is the essence of the authority. I will wish that they understand that this is not a political move. It's about making sure that the future is guaranteed with energy access, energy affordability, energy sustainability, and energy adaptability. I call it also the drivers of 4 important aspects. You can't just pay attention to one without the other aspect. 1 is efficiency, 2 is equity, 3 is effectiveness, 4 is ethics. I want the civil society also to be ethical, to understand that asking for consumer surplus at the expense of producer surplus will not allow Nigeria to go to where it's supposed to be. If you do not have energy sustainability and availability, and you don't have intergenerational way of looking at energy supply, we will continue to be where we are. And I'm not saying that they don't have a point. Yes, the tariff, when it becomes effective, prices will go up. But in the long run, prices will come down if government is consistent. So what I suggest the civil society do is to understand why government is trying to do what they are doing. They are not protecting. They're trying to hold on in the transition so that there can be stability in the future. I'm not unmindful of the shock that the tariff may bring. That's going to be short run. Go and look at the price of oil. Whenever there's a shock, it comes down. Because shock is creating instability, but it's going to be for a while. I believe just the way we are surviving with the dual exchange rate remover and subsidy remover, we are not worse off compared to other countries around us when it comes to petroleum supply that are dependent too much on import, and exchange rate is what is actually driving the high petroleum product price around Nigeria. So I would suggest we engage the government to see how we can do border control, how we can ensure there's consistency, and now that this tariff, when the market stabilizes, will be removed. All over the world, people have used that. Even in Nigeria, you've done that. There was a time in Nigeria that you won't send people abroad for master's degree in certain courses. And that helps to be able to build our own educational system to a point in which we are competitive all over the world. Tariff is not a punishment. It's an instrument for stability, economic output expansion domestically, and the ability to have sustainability in energy supply that is locally produced. You do not want to depend on external factors to drive your economy. And that, to me, is where you use fiscal instruments that can help you to stabilize economic growth within your country. We are too much dependent on external factors, and it's not allowing us to grow the way this promised nation will have grown all over the years. So I plead with Nopeng, I plead with Pengerson, I plead with civil society. Let us look more ahead than reacting. Let us be proactive. And I think this is what the 15% tariff is. I'm not holding for the government. I'm an academia who speaks to what ought to be. And this is what ought to be if you want to stabilize domestic refineries and create what I call an equitable playing field to compete with other people that want to dump their petroleum products to Nigeria. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for these very detailed thoughts. Now we realize that this move will impact small businesses and low-income Nigerians will suffer the most. Is there a way that these businesses can protect themselves? Because obviously, they are going to bear the burden. Is there a way that these businesses can protect themselves, and is there some sort of light at the end of the tunnel that they can look forward to?
Yes, there's light at the end of the tunnel. The tunnel may be long, and I'm not speaking theoretical. I'm speaking from facts, because I've had privileges to see some countries emerge from where they were. South Korea, for example, Japan, even China itself. For many years, China protected its economy, and they are still doing it today. Even the United States. I'm just a little bit flabbergasted when I see people say, I remember when we were doing the petroleum industry bill, and they said we're having dual taxation. And I remember the Louisiana state, how many taxes are paid by the oil and gas sector. There was a time in which China just looking what to grow their economy. Look at them today. Yes, there's going to be a little pain, but the pain, just like the scripture says, whatever we go through now is not comparable to the glory ahead. We are talking about future generations. And now this we are coming to the government. The government must be careful and find a way to reduce the cost of governance. And that, in a way, will relieve money to do things that can alleviate poverty within the sector. Like roads that will take 1.5 hours before, it's taking 3.5 hours. That's a cost. Those are the things. The cost of governance is just too much in Nigeria. And if you are going to do certain things that will affect consumers, the governance financing must be properly looked at and trimmed down. There's just too much executive privilege in Nigeria that they need to begin to cut if they are going to be able to stabilize the economy. What can the government do? Again, if you introduce tariff and you think it's affecting consumers, think about tax relief. And I think the tax bill is addressing that. Begin to challenge government workers that they are serving the public and not themselves. Let the public see that you have their interests. Think about what the government is doing now with public transportation. There are certain things you do, not direct subsidy of final product, but creating incentive to expand production. These are possible. Talk to your intellectuals. There are intellectual solutions to domestic problems, not political solutions, if it's going to last. Begin to not look at your intellectual as hungry people. But they have the knowledge that you need to be able to help the society. Education is also important. Put your people out there to defend this tariff. Let them see the possibility that it can unleash. And we have done it before as a nation. But the key, we must avoid government failure. Because government failure can lead to disastrous consequences in the nation. And that's what we've seen.
I'm glad you put the, Emeritus Professor, I'm glad you've put the caveat there that we must avoid government failure. Just before we wrap up this conversation, I do appreciate your optimistic point of view in saying that you see light at the end of the tunnel and that people should just endure this pain for a little while. You just talked about what the government must do, but for our listeners and our viewers watching us from across the world, if you could put a timeline and looking at it from an academic perspective to when they will begin to reap the benefits and see that light at the end of the tunnel, when things will come to fruition and, you know, when prices will begin to come down, how long should they endure for or plan for?
All right. Thank you very much. What you do as an academic is not to put a date, put a range. Unfortunately, I would have loved to predict, assuming the election is not coming quickly. Because the government now, what they are going to be doing is politics. And at the moment, they could come in with some consistency. But I remember saying here, the possibility when we thought the price of petrol would be 1,500 in Nigeria. Now we are still below 1,000. I will look at the tariff is going to start maybe January if they don't change their mind. And I look at about 6 months that's going to take to stabilize. And then we begin to see the effect. Every new thing takes time before it hits ground. I still believe at the rate at which we are going, if not because of the election of May 27, which again will allow the political behavior in which sentiment becomes more important, I will have seen us moving gradually. And by the time we get to 2027 January, which is going to be 1 year after, things will have taken place. Even with Dangote increasing its production, the only thing is that one policy is not enough. There must be backup. Policies are interrelated. So by January 2027, if not because of the election, because I can see politicians somersaulting and not do what they want to do, that has a long-lasting impact. So if we take politics out of it, that's why the economists will also say, other things being equal, this is what we can expect to happen. Any policy, if you give them 6 months, they will begin to find their ground as long as other things are equal. So I'm looking at, if we go on in 2026, this tariff implementation, and it is followed through with border control and government consistency, we are going to getting the positive impact within 12 months, if you allow me to put it right, instead of being exactly specific.
Within 12 months.
And the pain is not going to continue because now we don't see anybody queuing for petrol. I'm sure you know the benefit of that people do not queue for petrol anymore because of subsidy removal.
Well, that seems like a plus because people no longer queue, but the fear again is the price and the costs, the fluctuations, which has been erratic. Today it's 800 and something, tomorrow it's 920. Before you know, it's going back and forth and so on and so forth, which has caused a lot of instability in terms of movement planning and the cost of commuting from point A to point B. Well, on that note, we want to say thank you so much. We've had a very incisive conversation concerning this. I think the major concern now is you did mention politics, because of politics, and that should be the fear of every single Nigerian. Because of politics, which is especially the elections around the corner, this may inadvertently affect the progress that will be made or could be made, especially concerning Nigeria's oil and gas sector. But thank you so much, Professor. It's been a very nice one talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Just give me 1 minute or 1 second.
Go ahead, please.
Price of petrol will fluctuate with the price of crude oil, and you don't determine it. So we need to get to understand the fundamentals. Anytime the price of crude goes up, the price of petroleum product will go up. So let's begin to understand that the fundamentals of economics work even in Nigeria, whether you like it or not.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, we get that.
Thank you so much, American.
Thank you so much.
Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Anytime.
All right.
A pleasure.
Let's move on now to another story very quickly and tell you that a bill seeking to establish an artificial intelligence innovation and communication technology solution center in Nigeria has passed the second reading on the floor of the Senate. Now, this is as lawmakers also passed a bill for the second reading that seeks to channel taxes collected from non-alcoholic carbonated and sweetened beverages into funding for health projects across Nigeria. Well, don't take our words for it. News Central's National Assembly correspondent Sager Ibrahim brings all the details in this report.
Plenary activities resumed for the week. The Senate considered several items in its order paper, including the bill seeking to establish an Artificial Intelligence Innovation and Communications Technology Solutions Center. Sponsor of the bill, Yemi Adaramodu, while leading the debate on its principles, described the bill as a major leap into the world of artificial intelligence and digital innovation.
Nations that fail to invest strategically in these technologies risk being left behind in the 21st century knowledge economy. Those for whom artificial intelligence will mean a lot to, they are not here. The only way we can take them into civilization and make them part of the global village is to provide the capacity for them in artificial intelligence.
After the voice vote and passage, the bill was referred to the Committee on ICT and Cybersecurity for further legislative action. Another bill seeking to amend the Customs Excise Tariffs Consolidation Act to allow for tax collected on non-alcoholic carbonated and sweetened drinks be set aside to fund health projects and infrastructure for Nigerians passed second reading during Tuesday's plenary.
It proposes a restructuring of existing excise duty on sugar-sweetened beverages, not to impose more burden on citizens, but to redirect part of the existing revenue to finance health-related programs and infrastructure that will improve the well-being of Nigerians. But it is unfortunate that over the years, health has not attracted our attention as a parliament, nor does it also attract the attention of the executive to propose this kind of amendment.
Up to now, we could not meet the 15% requirement by all African countries to make it part of their budget for the healthcare delivery system. We could not meet it. Maybe through that medium, we can be able to meet that target.
After deliberations and contributions by senators, the bill was put to a voice vote and passed for the second time. The presiding officer subsequently referred the bill to the Committees on Finance, Commerce and Health for further legislative work with a 4-week timeline to report back to plenary. In Abuja for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has received the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Wide Shaibu, at the State House in Abuja as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen national security. The Army Chief briefed the President on his recent visit to the northeast and other regions of the country, assuring that the military remains committed to improving safety nationwide. According to General Shaibu, Nigerians should expect improved security across the country following renewed strategic operations and field assessments by the Nigerian Army.
The outcome of my visit to the Northeast region and look at the other security situation across the country, which was satisfactory within this period.
Well, that's a lot to look into. There's a lot to talk about, especially concerning Nigeria's insecurity, but we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, Breakfast Central continues in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. Nigeria is taking center stage in Africa's aviation development as the Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development has convened the 2025 Africa-wide Cape Town Convention Conference in Abuja. The event, organized by the Minister, Festive Keyamo, brings together aviation regulators, financiers, and industry stakeholders from across the continent to strengthen cooperation and unlock the full benefits of the Cape Town Convention. Our correspondent, Sumaya Abubakar, reports.
The Cape Town Convention, first adopted in 2001, sets global standards that make aircraft financing and leasing more secure and affordable. Across Africa, 28 countries have ratified the treaty, signaling a growing commitment to safer skies, better regulations, and stronger investor confidence. Nigeria's participation highlights ongoing efforts to align national aviation laws with international best practices.
The Cape Town Convention offers Africa not just an opportunity to access aircraft more affordably, but a framework to build trust, stability, and sustainability in our continent's aviation ecosystem.
continue to work together to ensure harmonized implementation in Nigeria, Africa can become an attractive market for aviation investment and a model for international cooperation.
There is no way you can have a business environment that is viral without an efficient, effective, and indeed affordable airline system or aviation system, as it were.
The gathering also features lawmakers, airline CEOs, and international aviation bodies, all pushing for stronger policies to drive investment and sustainability across Africa's skies.
The Cape Town Convention and its aircraft protocol have transformed global aviation finance, enhancing legal certainty, reducing investment risk, and improving access to capital.
It is critical that we bring together the international thinking behind the treaty with the national reality. And I think this event is going to do that.
Aviation is one of the best, well-regulated industry in the world. So we cannot be seen to be lagging behind.
With Nigeria hosting this year's Africa-wide Cape Town Convention and 28 African nations already on board, the focus remains on translating this commitment into real progress that strengthens the continent's aviation future. In Abuja, for News Central, Sumaya Abubakar.
Very interesting to note that the aviation sector is indeed about to have a facelift, but let's hope that that will not in any way affect the dirty December and what Nigerians are indeed looking forward to. The holiday is just around the corner, so the Ember months are here. Everyone is looking at moving from one place to the other, and that's exactly a conversation we're also going to have. We'll be going straight to South Africa, but that will be after we take another break. Do stay with us. This is Breakfast Central.
The festive season is around the corner. I can smell the Christmas air, and as the holiday approaches, South Africa comes alive with color, from beach escapes and wine festivals to vibrant city celebrations. Whether you're looking for luxury, adventure, or fun family getaway, South Africa offers it all, with travel options that are easy for Nigerians to plan and enjoy. Today on Breakfast Central, we're joined by the team lead of the Channels Department, BTM Travel, Peggy Omoregi, to explore. And we also have Toby with us to explore why South Africa remains one of the most exciting festive destinations for Nigerians. So let's start off with the conversation. So Peggy, why do I have to go to South Africa this Christmas?
You say why do we?
We, okay, let me not leave you guys out.
You understand?
Yeah.
You want to leave me?
Okay, so yeah, Africa is a destination, right? We have so many beautiful places in Africa, but for Christmas, for dirty December as we know it, we have 3 major destinations. Like, I would mention Nigeria first because, I mean, we're Nigerians, and then I will mention Ghana, and then South Africa. South Africa is a beautiful destination, so it's one of the top destinations for dirty December. So if you're trying to book your dirty December holiday, also think about South Africa. Yes.
All right. Let's come to you now and talk about, we're talking about dirty December and thinking of options. What are some of the experiences that people can think of when they go to South Africa? What things should they look out for? What kind of exciting experiences for adrenaline junkies like me?
Okay, so South Africa is a beautiful country. So for people that like club life, that likes noise, Johannesburg is a good place to be. And then if you like the quiet life, the romantic getaway, then you're going to Durban. And then for people that likes fireworks and the Christmas paparazzi, you need to experience the Cape Town Switch On Light Festival, where they switch on the light. I think it's coming on the 30th of November, and then you experience street performance, different food and everything. So it depends on the kind of experience you want to have, but then it depends.
Okay, I think another concern for a number of people would be the fact that, you know, visa applications. Nigerians are sometimes a bit worried. Would I be granted the visa? Would I be denied the visa? How easy is it to get the visa application? And is that something that your organization offers?
Yes, yes. South Africa visa is quite easy right now because we have two options. We have the sticker visa and we have the e-visa. So it just depends on what you want. The e-visa is just, it takes about 48 hours to get. And then the sticker visa takes about 2 weeks. It depends. You know, it depends if it's business or tourism. But then they've reduced the tension of refusals. They hardly refuse Nigerians, but then we can easily get visas, yes.
All right. Let's look at the provinces or cities that are most popular for Nigerians during the holidays. Where do you think Nigerians should go to? Should they go to Joburg?
Yeah, Johannesburg and Cape Town.
Joburg and Cape Town?
Yes.
These are the most popular destinations for Nigerians.
What are the fun things to do there?
In Johannesburg would be club life. Club life, street food, nightlife. Johannesburg is like the Lagos. You're in Johannesburg, you're seeing so many familiar faces here. So you enjoy more of nightlife, more of hangout, sit-out, picnics and the likes. And then for Cape Town, because of the Switch On Life Festival, everyone wants to experience it. It's really colorful at night. It's really colorful. It brings this Christmas feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Peggy, let's find out about Cape Town because I feel like, and I've heard more than one person say, Cape Town is a city you have to visit more than once.
Yes.
That you have to keep going because, and I did mention this when I was talking about it with my colleagues about how I was trying to look for a country to meet up with my friend, and she said, oh, wanted a neutral country. And when I said South Africa, she was like, I've been there, but I don't mind going to Cape Town again. And that's a statement I've heard many people say. What is so fascinating about Cape Town that people keep wanting to go back, Peggy?
It's beautiful. Like when you enter the city, I mean, it's surreal. It's just beautiful. So some people visit Nigeria and they want to come back every December. It's just like that, right? You visit it once, and it doesn't leave your mind until you go there again, and then you leave, and you also want to go back again. It's just beautiful.
So what are the things that, you know, the highlights or fun things people can do in Cape Town?
Okay, so like my colleague mentioned, the Fusion Light Festival, especially for December, right? When all of the lights come up, preparing for Christmas and all of those things. It's like at night, when you come out at night, the lightings are beautiful in Cape Town.
Now, for someone like me that I'm a very big Amapiano lover until I switched to gospel music. Now, Amapiano is second, gospel is first. What sort of, and I mean, that's the reason I want to go to South Africa, experience Amapiano in the origins, you know, in its original form and state, and visit all those nice places that you've mentioned. What sort of packages do you have for me? Or I should just travel and then Google places of interest. Do you have travel packages for individuals and families, and what sort of packages do you have?
Okay, should I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. So for we usually tailor packages to individuals' preferences, right? So you are an Amapiano lover, right?
Now gospel.
Okay,
but Amapiano and gospel, yeah.
Okay, you're a gospel lover.
I'm an adventure adrenaline junkie.
So we don't, so we don't group it. You tell us this is what you like. This is what the kind of feeling or experience you want. We'll create it and tailor it to what you want so that it doesn't interfere with what another person wants, right? So at the end of the day, you're having something tailored.
Or grammar.
Yes, suited to you. So like my colleague mentioned about romantic getaways like Durban. Some people just want to go and relax. They don't want clubs, they don't want lights and all of that.
That's connected to that. That's your vibe.
Yes, coconut by the beach, yeah.
Exactly. So we tailor it to what suits you best, right? We don't generalize, right? So everybody can go at once, but at the end of the day, you're getting your own experience.
Okay, so I like that. So are we also looking at a group trip here? Is there a group trip coming, or individuals can apply to want to go on their own or go with their friends and families, or do you have a particular group trip coming? Let's hear from you.
We have several packages that could either work for group trips or for individual trips.
Okay.
So yeah, so we have the Cape Town Escape for November, December. We have the Family Getaway for Johannesburg also, and this includes hotels, includes tours, includes excludes flight and visa, but then includes all of the experiences you get to enjoy. So
when you say it excludes flight and visa,
Yeah.
are you also going to help them get the flight and visa?
Of course,
but
we
they
have.
will pay for it.
Yes.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, but my Igbo blood just kicked in now. Egole, how much is it?
Okay, so we have the Cape Town escape for $663. Yes. And then we have the family
When you
gateway
say
with-
it in dollars, it doesn't sound
It's quite
a
true.
lot.
When we convert with today's rate is around
She's talking, my calculator is
968,000
open.
naira.
Okay, so let me speak to that, right? The reason why it's in dollars and the reason why it excludes flights, people are not coming from the same destination.
You're right.
Makes sense.
Some people will be coming from another country.
$663, that's what you
Yes.
said.
Yes, some
Multiplied by
people coming-
1,450. A dollar is how much now?
1480.
1,480. Okay. You didn't even want to reduce it. 1,480. That's about
No, I did the math.
981,240. Approximately, let's just say 1 million.
Yeah.
So $1 million it covers what? What does it cover?
Your hotel,
Hotel.
your visa, your... It doesn't cover.
It covers hotel, it covers half board, that's breakfast and
Okay.
dinner.
Okay.
Includes airport transfers
Okay.
and includes tours.
Tours.
The
Oh, that's not a bad
experiences.
deal at all.
Okay.
So then
So-
the person pays for flights and visa.
Yes, so depending on where you're coming from.
Okay.
Yeah, some people will be coming from London, some people will be coming from Nigeria.
From Nigeria,
or
like on the
Ghana.
average, because in my head I'm doing math.
Flights.
And on the average,
Okay.
like how much should I budget? Or is something you think
For
we can talk
flights.
about later?
Okay, for flights.
On the average.
On the
I mean, I know it's
average.
not fixed.
So from
Right.
1.5.
Okay.
Yes.
So a total of, let's just say 2.5.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's also dependent on the day you're booking because flights are not stable.
Yeah,
yeah.
Right? So if you're booking
Weekends,
closer to your
weekdays.
date of travel, it becomes more expensive.
Yeah.
But further away, it becomes cheaper.
Yeah.
It becomes
Okay,
cheaper.
and how is this, how important is this in terms of first-time travelers? You know, those who have never left the country before and I never, I don't want to apply, I don't want them to deny me visa. Is that something, is that a concern they should have?
No. First-time travelers does not really matter. We are not a flight risk country to South Africa at the moment. So they are not refusing people. So far you have the right requirements to apply for the visa. You have a good bank statement. You work in a reputable place. You can actually defend your income.
And you have strong ties to Nigeria.
Yes, strong
You
ties
will
to
come
Nigeria.
back.
So,
Yes.
But then South Africa is not that hard. Yeah.
Okay, so if you've never traveled out of the country, this might just be the grand opportunity that you want to leave Nigeria and maybe for a change, those of you in Nigeria, leave there to December, go and explore. And I don't know if people understand just how beautiful travel is. It opens
I'm
your
telling you,
mind.
because Joe has been such a fantastic colleague, I really wish management can give him time off. I want to sponsor his trip to Polokwane so he can, take coconut by the beach, eat gala and malt.
Why did you say Joe, but why Polokwane?
I think that place will fit you.
Seeing as Joe Benga has said, this management will take that into consideration. You will sponsor Joe
And
to
then
South
we'll go
Africa.
through BTM, right?
Okay, for those who want to
Okay.
go, who have decided, you know what, this opportunity is for me, I want to take this, what are the next steps?
Okay, so you can book on our website on www.btmholidays.com or call us on 081-299-11921.
Take the number again.
081-299-11921.
All right, so they can visit your website at www.btmholidays.com or they can call the number to know what the next steps are.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to ask a question.
Hi.
I mean, for Nigerians who are planning a festive trip, what are the tips you want to give to them? Like somebody's watching now, maybe the person doesn't want to engage in Dirty December here in Lagos, and they say, you know what, we've done Lagos back to back, let's do SA. So what are some of the tips you want to give to them so they can start preparing? Apart from the fact that we've talked about the cost.
And also weather.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's actually summer in December in South Africa. So it's advisable they take warm clothing, very comfortable clothing. Book early, get your vaccines, your yellow card on time because it counts. You can't travel 10 days. You can't travel until 10 days after your vaccine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yellow fever.
Yes.
Thank you for messaging that, mentioning that.
Yes.
Because there are many people who wouldn't know.
No,
you know
you
this
can't
thing where
get your
people
yellow
think,
card now
on my way to
and
the airport,
travel
I'll
now.
quickly go and take the jab
No.
and collect.
It has to
No
come
more.
No more.
10 days.
10 days.
Okay.
So if you take it, then you can travel
Just
the
to
next 10
confirm,
days.
the duration of that yellow fever card is 10 years, right?
No.
How long?
It's for a lifetime, actually.
Is it a lifetime?
No, not actually. I think they reduced it to 5 years now.
5 years, I think.
And then you need to renew.
Then
There's a new
that your
one.
own will not work again.
You need to renew because the new one comes with a barcode that you need to scan.
Okay.
And if you had one for like 3 years ago, you need to renew. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I think mine, I need to go and check mine just to be on the safe side.
Go and check.
Man, I don't use yellow card. I just tell them I'm covered by the blood of Jesus.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. That works too.
Let's move. She said that works.
Oh my goodness.
You come back home sulking. But let's talk about the safari lodges, wine routes, the New Year celebrations. In Lagos here, especially in Nigeria, I think we're used to some already, and it won't be bad to experience how it's done, I mean, outside of the country. Can you shed more light on how it's done out there? What should people expect,
The
especially in South
experience,
Africa?
yes.
In South Africa? Okay, so there are a lot of things to experience. There are hidden gems in South Africa also, aside the Kruger National Park, aside the hiking and all. There are fishing villages that you can also visit. Yeah, there are fishing villages you can visit. There are locals around Durban that you can actually go for a cooking experience. They teach you how to cook their local food.
No, I like that.
Yes,
I would like that.
Yes. So there are hidden gems here and there scattered around.
Do you offer any safari packages? I'm a lover. I mean, growing up, I loved Animal Planet and
Yes, we actually have
Discovery,
one at the
National
moment.
Geographic.
Yes.
I would like to see the lions and
Of
tigers
course, at the
because I've been to the zoo in
Ibadan
Ibadan.
Zoo?
I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it.
the
What did you
lion.
What did you say?
I went to the Ibadan Zoo.
The lion wasn't looking very lionish. It was looking more like
Pussycat.
Ekuke. So I would like to experience that. Is that on the offer?
Yes, yes. We have a safari package, a safari experience package on ground till December, where you get to visit the Kruger National Park.
That's the big one.
And experience a whole lot of more for people that like.
People that are not afraid.
I don't think you are an animal lover.
She doesn't look like she's an adventure person at all.
People that are not afraid can actually visit it.
No,
I mean,
no.
just that
Give me
feeling
the
of being
let's go.
close to the animals.
Because I'm tired of going to zoos that you be seeing goat, ram, chicken, mosquito, things you see every day. I want to see things I'm not used to, like
What-
dinosaur.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow, Benga, what's your kind of vibe when you go on holiday?
Nightlife. I like noise.
I'm a piano.
Yes.
She goes to the
Every
discotheque. What about you, Peggy? What's your kind of holiday
I'm
vibe?
not big on the nightlife. I'm big on the safaris.
You're
I'm
just
big,
like me, you know.
Yeah, I'm big on the balloon experience.
What's a balloon?
Yes.
Oh, they have that there.
No, I don't think so.
No, I think it's in Morocco.
Yeah, they
that
don't
they
have
have
it
that.
there. Yeah.
Would you be
Maybe.
trying that?
Oh yes, I've done
You've jumped out of a
skydiving.
plane. Yeah.
Yes, I've done scuba
Bungee
diving.
jumping.
I've done snorkeling. I've done indoor skydiving.
Have you done bungee jumping?
That's the one I don't know if my
Just
my
make sure
liver.
the rope is very tight.
I don't know because I
Yeah,
know they
but
also
what
do
can
bungee
be more
jumping in
dangerous
South
than
Africa.
jumping out of
They
an
do.
airplane? So
Sorry?
what can be more dangerous than jumping out
Jumping
of an
out of the airplane, it's a tandem jump. You're strapped to a professional.
Yes.
So even though you're jumping out and you're screaming and everything, there's that thrill of the free fall before the parachute goes off. But that bungee jumping is only you. They are tying your leg. You are falling head down, and your ancestors can decide at that moment, or your village people, to use your picture to farm firewood. It's not me.
Well, that's why we don't have it in Nigeria, because of village people. But there are no village people over in South Africa.
There are village people in Polokwane that stoned our Super Eagles plane with cracked that value jet plane.
Anyway.
Ladies, it's been actually interesting speaking with you both, and we look forward to South Africa. Just to mention, is there a duration or a timeline within which people should reach out? When does the application process to travel to South Africa end? Is there a closing time?
Okay, so we basically have just till the end of November.
Okay.
Because it's really close. One of the most important things when you want to travel is to start early because of flights, because of visa processing and all. But then we can still take applications till the end of November.
All right, so till the end of November. Any other thing you feel like you've missed out on that you'd like to add?
Yes, okay, so you can also send us a DM on Instagram.
Oh.
Yes.
What's your Instagram page?
BTM Limited.
Okay,
We have that,
all right.
yeah.
So please Send them an Instagram DM, send them an email if you'd like to travel to South Africa. As we wrap up the show, I'm going to put the both of you on the spot. I've asked the two ladies. I think I know Benga's answer. Let me start with you. What's your
You can't know my answer.
I know your answer. What's your kind of vibe when you travel? So are you the nightlife type of person? Are you the adventure person? What are the kind of things you would like to do? Or you just want to stay inside your hotel and lock yourself?
Zero. Just walk around, shop.
Okay.
You're too young for this sort of behavior.
Eat.
Eat.
I'm not big on trying everything, but I will try a little.
Okay.
But I must be very close to the restroom. Because, yeah, fact. Because so I try. Yeah, then I like sports. So if they have like,
oh nice.
If I'm opportunity to be where there's like the NBA, that's the US, where sports, I'd rather do sports.
Benga, I already know your answer.
What's my answer?
Zoo now. You like
you want
zoo?
to go and see lion now?
Zazu!
No, I'm an island type of person. I like the beach life.
Actually, because you're a very good swimmer. Yes, he's a very good swimmer.
Getting a scooter, riding around the island. I like islands that don't even have cars. So where people walk from point A to point B, you're in tune with nature, snorkeling, sea life, and just meeting people. So it's all in one package. There's also duty-free shopping there. There's a nightlife. You meet people, tourists from everywhere in the world, and so
I think being of all of us, you're the perfect traveler because you like adventure, you like the nightlife, you really like all of it.
And don't forget the gospel music on Sunday.
Okay, okay, and all of these that
BTM has a tax to do now. They have to send our package down.
Yes. Oh yes, you have to create a package that is suited to all our taste buds.
The three anchors can host breakfast from South Africa.
We'll
leave Mazino and Judith to take care of things.
Exactly. That'll be a great
That'll be a very good one.
All right, we'll go on a very quick break, and when we come back, we hope that while we're on the break, you're already reaching out to them to plan your next travel to South Africa. When you get there, post pictures and tag us. We want to see. We'd like to see them. We'll be right back in a moment. The debate over whether Nigeria is experiencing a Christian genocide has dominated national conversations in recent weeks. From the President of the United States to Nigeria's federal government, the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and other groups and Islamic bodies, arguments have continued to emerge both in support of and against the claim. Amid this controversy, one voice has drawn significant attention. Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo, the regional chairman of the Church of Christ in Nations, Plateau State. In an exclusive interview with News Central TV, Reverend Dachomo spoke boldly and emotionally about what he described as targeted killings of Christians. According to him, hundreds of lives have been lost in attacks in Plateau villages that were never documented, and many victims remain unaccounted for. He cited Dogo Nahawa, where he claimed over 500 people were killed in one night.
Genocide. I have the statistics. I've been to the monument. I've called names. These are the names of people that have been killed in one day, one night, 501. This happened on the 7th March 2010 in Dogo Nahawa, Gemburuk. Gemburuk is a local dialect name from our forefathers. When they came, gradually our forefathers accommodated them in peace. But when they grown up with external forces, they changed the name to Dogo Nahawa. Abandon the native, this is a jihad movement. When they want to take the land, they invited Islamic terrorists from the far north, Niger, Chad. If Nigeria don't know about it, please know about this. Why did they cancel history?
Reverend Dachomo also responded to claims that Muslims have suffered similar attacks, sharing his personal perspective on Islamic extremism and his role in the violence.
Muslims are saying they are killed, we killed them. Ask them, where did we kill them? In self-defense in the village, casualties came. In our village, they loot the village, look at this village. Look at this material. These are all the houses that they burned. Look at the number of people, number of houses destroyed, 120 in one village. Total number of dead because
Hosted by Blessings Masugo, News Central Television, the interview will continue tonight. It's part 2 today at 7 p.m. West African time. It highlights the issue of insecurity from the perspective of the victim, shedding light on Nigeria's conflict-torn regions.
Gentle. Call him victim. We should call him a survivor.
A survivor, exactly.
Because having to live through the horrors, and I was watching the interview. I think Blessings Masugo did an excellent job facilitating this conversation, and I wondered how she was able to hold herself together and not break down in tears at some of the harrowing experiences that were detailed there. And you can see the sentiment. If you go on our YouTube, you'll see the comment section, people who have experiences as well, sharing their thoughts in the comment section, sharing their experiences, and to think that it feels like a part of us in the country were shielded from the experiences and the reality that a number of our northern brothers and sisters have to go through. It's really just heart-wrenching.
And it's nice to, because I saw a video that emerged over the weekend. The force commander of Operation Hadinkai was in church with him on the Sunday service. He took the microphone and I was assuring him that nobody's going to attack you, we're going to protect you. So it's good to get that level of assurance from the security operatives and men of the Nigerian army. So let's hope this is a wake-up call, as we've always urged Nigerian leaders to do, and we would stop hearing incidents of wanton killings of Nigerians, regardless of where they are in the country.
That's right. I think for me, it's just practically one thing that it had to take an announcement or a truth post, which eventually, of course, got on X, that has spiraled and has led to this massive conversation. Remember that the same pastor has been calling out, the same reverend has been speaking very loudly about the killings for a long while. But then again, you would want to follow up with the conclusion of this very exclusive interview, and that will continue later today, 2 p.m., like Benga has rightly said, West African time. The conclusive part of the interview will be one you do not want to miss, okay? We'll go on a very, very next conversation, which has to do with which way Nigeria. Now, we've looked at the issues. We've looked at some of the burning ones that we've talked about from the start of the show. It will be now time to address another one. This one is very important, and you do know that on Which Way Nigeria, it's not just a conversation or a statement that's being made. It's a monologue that addresses very, very deep issues affecting Nigerians and Nigeria. Hence why you have, from the 1985 popular song, Which Way Nigeria. So let's join Benga on that right away.
Once again, Nigeria is in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has dispatched a high-level delegation, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, and Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, to the United Kingdom to negotiate the transfer of former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu so he can serve the rest of his sentence here in Nigeria. Now, let's be honest, this is a waste of taxpayers' money and national credibility. Ekweremadu was convicted by a UK court under the Modern Slavery Act, found guilty of conspiring to traffic a young man for organ harvesting. This was not political prosecution. It was a clear case of criminal wrongdoing. If Nigeria truly respects the rule of law, why should the government intervene to seek special treatment for one man simply because he once held power? And the timing couldn't be worse. Just weeks ago, the United States designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern over serious human rights and religious freedom violations, a diplomatic black mark that demands urgent attention and bridge building. Yet, Instead of engaging Washington to repair relations and restore our reputation, our government is lobbying London to repatriate a convicted politician. Meanwhile, over 16,000 Nigerians are languishing in foreign prisons, from the United Kingdom and China to India and Indonesia, many for minor offenses, immigration violations, or even without fair trial. In China alone, more than 700 Nigerians remain behind bars, some awaiting deportation. Where is the same urgency for them? Where are the diplomatic visits, the government delegations, the high-level negotiations for ordinary Nigerian citizens? This is not diplomacy, it's misplaced loyalty. It's a reminder that in Nigeria, government energy flows upwards to protect the powerful and not downwards to serve the people. Where is the same urgency when ordinary Nigerians are unjustly detained abroad, when students are stranded, or when citizens cry for justice at home? Public office should not serve national interest. Public office should serve national interest and not personal convenience. Justice should be blind, not blinded by power, until leadership in Nigeria begins to fear the judgment of history more than the favor of the powerful. Good morning, Nigerians.
Welcome back. The federal government says ongoing diplomatic engagements between Nigeria and United States are yielding positive outcomes and helping to ease tensions in bilateral relations. Now, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, disclosed this during an interview on Sky News, confirming that new channels of communication have improved mutual understanding between both nations. He explained that earlier misunderstanding stemmed from an incomplete grasp of Nigeria's complex internal challenges. Idris also alleged links between a prescribed separatist group in Nigeria and US-based lobbyists spreading misleading narratives about the country. Reaffirming Nigeria's partnership with the US, he called for stronger cooperation to tackle insecurity and promote lasting peace. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has sent a high-level delegation to the United Kingdom to seek the transfer of former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu to Nigeria to serve the remainder of his prison sentence. A delegation, which includes Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga and Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi, met with officials from the UK Ministry of Justice on Tuesday, both of whom seem to have begun talks. Ekweremadu has been in UK custody since March 2023 after being convicted for organ trafficking under the UK Modern Slavery Act. He was sentenced to 9 years and 8 months in prison, while his wife was released earlier in 2025. The Nigerian government is pursuing legal avenues to facilitate Ekweremadu's transfer on humanitarian and legal grounds. A legal practitioner, Jide Ologu, joined us earlier and shared his legal perspective to the move by the federal government of Nigeria.
Before deciding that it should be now. But what we know is that there was this agreement signed in January 2014 between the UK and Nigeria on prisoners exchange. You know, coming out of the communique that marked the meeting of the former president, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and David Cameron in 2011. And by virtue of that agreement, there can be exchanges of prisoners. And then diplomatically, Nigeria is engaging with the UK. And then when the prosecution was on, shortly before the conviction, there were efforts by the National Assembly in Nigeria, by ECOWAS and Chief Olusegun Obasanjo to plead for leniency from the UK. But the UK insisted that no, we have zero tolerance for organ harvesting.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has declared former Bayelsa State Governor and former Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, wanted. In a notice posted on its official X handle, the anti-graft agency said Silva is wanted in connection with an alleged case of conspiracy and dishonest conversion of $14.8 million. According to the EFCC, the funds were part of monies invested by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board into Atlantic International Refinery and Petrochemical Limited for the construction of a refinery. Meanwhile, the former Bayelsa State governor has responded to the public notice, saying that the commission did not observe any protocol before declaring him wanted. In a statement by Julius Bokuru, his special assistant on media and public affairs, Silva noted that EFCC only took to social media to announce quite unceremoniously that it had declared the former minister wanted. The Senate has directed the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to refund 210 trillion naira to the Federation account after rejecting its explanations over the unaccounted funds. The decision followed the failure of NNPCL's Group Chief Executive Officer Bayo Ojulari to appear before the Senate Committee on Public Accounts for clarification. Committee Chairman Senator Aliyu Wadada said the company's responses to 19 audit queries were contradictory and failed to justify 103 trillion naira in accrued expenses and 107 trillion naira in receivables. He questioned how the firm could claim to have spent 103 trillion naira on joint venture cash calls in 2023, despite generating only 24 trillion naira between 2017 and 2022. The committee insisted the figures were unjustifiable and vowed to conclude its probe once the NNPCL appears before it. Let's tell you that 31 years after the execution of Ken Saroriwa and 8 others, the people of Ogoni land are renewing calls for justice, this time for the Ogoni 4. At a memorial in Gokana community, leaders and families demanded the recovery and dignified burial of Edward Kobani, Theophilus Oragi, Samuel Oragi, and Albert Bade. The Gokana Unity Forum faulted Bosop for ignoring recommendations of the 2001 Oputa panel to retrieve the remains, saying the neglect has delayed true peace. Speakers, including Kenneth Kobani, son of one of the victims, said forgiveness without truth and justice cannot bring reconciliation. They vowed to continue pressing until the remains are recovered and closures achieved for the people of Ogoni. Let's wrap things up with this piece of news. Nigeria's security challenges continue to cast a shadow over many communities. In Plateau State, Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo says his community has faced repeated attacks, including the brutal killings of his own family members. He believes Christians are being deliberately targeted, a claim the federal government strongly denies. News Central brings you this exclusive conversation, which indeed aired yesterday, and a part 2 will air later on today at 7 p.m. West African time, but do take a look at some of the excerpts.
This is where I grown up. And the Fulani knows that that is my village. They invented chanting Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, sporadic shooting all over the village from different angles. And this is the sound of their guns. I don't know whether it comes from, is it Iraq or Iran or anything. You hear kukum, 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 kukum. This is the sound of the terrorists in Islam. And when they enter the village, and this is what happened. They move after that night. Those that were able to escape helter-skelter, they were able to go and hide. Then they burned the villages. I was called. I have to take a journalist to that village the following morning. Because I wanted to go down there. They said, no, don't come this night. They can do something.
Don't forget to join Blessings Masugu for the concluding part of that exclusive interview, which airs later today at 7 p.m. West African time. That does it for Breakfast Headlines. We'll move now to the front pages of the newspapers. Do stay with us.
Hello, welcome back to Breakfast Central. It's time for us to look at the newspaper front pages and the headlines. And join us for this analysis is Chartered Accountant and Public Affairs Analyst, Mr. Nyesom Wike.
Why did you remove the
Oluseson?
Oluseson.
Okay, Oluseson.
So do that intro again, please.
We have Chartered Accountant avid golfer.
No, the way you said the chartered accountant, it's not like the way you said it in the first time. It was so punchy. So
guys, we don't have time.
Find out.
You're welcome. You can ignore the studio.
Thank you
we'll
very
draw
much.
you like Tiger.
You see, part of the things I enjoyed with this crew, you bring that relief side of this. So when you wake up with every activity that we face in this, the BP level, we just you create activities that will make people dance. It's always a great time.
Thank you so much for the compliment. Just like MI said, we self will be human beings.
Yes,
If the three of us were in Abuja, I don't think that things will have flared up because we will have made the FCT minister calm down.
Yes,
because of how we always ban.
And I was even afraid when Gbenga was shouting chartered accountant and missed to add the Olu. I was thinking he was going to tell him that you were a small boy. You're a small boy when I was in
We're not
for not putting the Olu. Yes, I was in primary school when he was chartered.
When you were exactly.
Thankfully, our guest Olusegun Okunade is not like that.
Yeah.
But let's go to the leadership newspapers. I know he will react to that story because it must make it to the papers. On the leadership, we can see 2025 oil licensing rounds open December 1st. Upstream regulator says Sanwo-Olu approves free health insurance for 5,000 vulnerable Lagosians. Wike naval officers in face-off over Abuja land. They've turned into memes on social media. Political rivals Governor Yusuf Ganduje exchange pleasantries. Look at, I like the way they put these stories one
back to back.
Exactly. On top, you see Wike and the naval officer face off, and right below, political rivals exchange pleasantries. Why two they fight, two they settle?
Happy.
Only 40% of
they just exchange pleasantries. It doesn't mean they are still not fighting.
Yeah, but the
governor and the former governor.
But they're exchanging pleasantries. First step in the right direction. Only 40% of Batch C prospective core members will attend orientation. Why?
There was a glitch with the website at some point, so maybe it could only register the remaining 60%.
Then what will happen to the remaining 60%?
They'll wait till next time.
For what? EU, Germany commit 18.3 million euros to boost climate-smart agriculture in Nigeria. Interesting. People's Democratic Party's November 15 convention faces growing uncertainty. Today's date is what? November 12th. In 3 days, we will see if that convention will hold. I think it should hold. We'll see what the outcome will be. Kaduna governor advocates state-led strategy to combat insecurity. Of all these interesting stories. Capital gains tax.
Stock market loses.
4.64 trillion in 1 day. Makawai, kilo day. Nigeria, US, UK launch joint probe into 338 billion naira cocaine seized at Lagos port. How many of you are bringing cocaine into this country? They have seized your goods and it's good for you. Let's start with Mr. Okunade. Let's start with that face-off. I think we should play the video. Let's actually play the video.
So that rejig your memory.
So I don't forget
to remind you of some things.
So if our producers can please help us play the video, and then we can have Mr. Olusegun Okunade react to it.
We did not carry anybody. The man took the Arab, we will not allow because he was taken over and then for you to carry land.
Sir, everything was acquired legally.
Will you stop
and so
that?
you get the
Will you stop that?
Sir, I'm an officer, I have integrity.
Shut up, you're not good officer.
I will not shut up.
Will you get up?
Sir, I won't shut up. Sir,
I was in school, you're not in school.
Sir, you can't shut
Will
me
you keep quiet?
You can't shut me up,
fool.
I'm not a
fool.
I'm not a fool,
You can shoot anybody like that.
Sir, I'm not a fool. I am not a fool, sir.
As for the time I graduated, you were in primary school.
I'm acting on orders.
Take for which order? You will see whether you love me here.
Sir, you can't call me a fool.
You have to follow me.
I'm an officer. I'm not a fool, sir. I'm an officer.
You will have killed everybody here.
No, we won't kill anybody. We won't kill anybody. We are acting on orders.
Go and develop here, let me see you.
Regular officer, I won't come in for this.
We are going to get out.
Hello, sir. Morning, sir. I'm fine, thank you, sir. Sir, yes, sir. Afternoon, sir. I'm Navy Lieutenant Nyesom Wike, security officer to Vice Admiral for good time. Yes, sir. So I'm here on the orders Yes, I'm here on the other side. So we mobilized to site a couple of days ago, and then the engineer kept telling us that policemen are coming to embarrass them and harass them, and they've been coming to threaten them that if they don't leave, they will strike them, they will arrest them and all. And then he brought it to our attention. So as the security officer to the vice admiral, I was called, and then we acted. Sir, we are not doing anything illegal. We are here on the orders of the vice admiral. That's it. Ours is just to come and do things.
Stop this here.
What even paid me in all of this thing? After everything, they still left that place. Because you cannot be boiling like that and then still leave that land without access to it. No?
But he gave his reason. He said if it was not because
of the CDS,
he could have killed a lot.
Kill a lot.
Yeah. Okay. You see, first and foremost, it depicts the kind of leaders we have. I see 100% here lack of emotional intelligence to actually have understanding of the situation of things. To the officers, I followed on social media, a lot of people were actually criticizing that the military seems to be above the law. It's not an instance of standing above the law. It's a matter of relationship. The approach of minister to me is 100%, and it speaks volume. The way and manner he manages people underneath him. For you, the minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, calling a military man a fool depicts that there should be, as we speak, a training on anger management. Because if you can do this to a military man, how much more a civilian like you? I saw him pushing some of the directors. In fact, the interesting one was the man that called himself MNI, as if that is what they will use to collect money when they get to heaven. You are coming to, you see, immediately somebody comes out to depict that. Do you think that officer do not know Wike? Or do not know the director? He was pointing to the man that you have all the documents with you, everything intact, and you cannot come here. Number one, I don't know what brought that area where the minister himself has to go to that place. Because for me, did you see the vice admiral there? No. The guy said, I'm acting on order, even when the CDS has spoken. And because the military understand themselves and they respect hierarchy, even though the other man has retired, they will always respect one another. And he told, I'm sure, the minister said, if not for the instruction of CDS, which has to say, we will settle this, can you leave that area? And I expect that he should have handled the issue, in a more matured way. Areas where I don't like is the name calling on the military is derogatory.
Yes, it was in uniform.
Derogatory, and it's not something. So I imagine what happens to if he sees someone like you, who you are a
regular
civilian. We've seen that happen when Fani Kayode was a minister that slapped a journalist. They throw words at people because they are in power. In the next 2 years, you will leave this particular office. And will you become a norm? How will you want to be treated?
Let me read this comment on YouTube by Annie Chinedu Brown. Remember, we're streaming live on YouTube. You can go and drop your comments there as well. Annie Chinedu Brown says, the bully, comparable to a hammer that sees every adversary as a nail, views opponents as fubara, and unfortunately yesterday, the bully encountered Showore in military uniform.
What an analogy.
That guy is a great analyst, sincerely speaking. But sincerely speaking, our leaders should come to this fact that when you are there, you see, there was a portion of the video I was looking at, Joe, that made the minister now looked like one of the subjects to that military guy when the guy was speaking to CDS. You are now looking at what is the next instruction.
Because he handed him his phone.
Now, because you have to give the military guy you are bullying that was still in school while you're already serving the people. It is not the same guy you have to give your phone to. Not that you give it to your SE or somebody
to say. So that's why anger management
is very, very
because
key.
All of this would have been unnecessary if he had his emotions in check.
Curtailed. Yeah. That's just what we actually saw displayed here.
It wasn't just disparaging the officer, the young naval officer. it was disparaging the entire military institution. Because
that's why a lot of them have come. Yeah,
it's in uniform. Even the president, the commander-in-chief.
I was about to mention that. Because if he's saying he's working on the instructions of the president is the commander-in-chief.
Will never use such words.
Derogatory word on the military. You are the commander-in-chief of armed forces. Now using derogatory word on your people that you're serving, it will not happen. So that's why we feel continuously this set of people should understand the fact that power is transcendent. You have it today, manage it effectively. Anywhere you go, either you are a man, and you have to say, do you know who I am? Even when people know your personality, you've already failed. Just immediately you say that statement, withdraw it and leave the face. Because if you have to be introducing yourself, it's just like my governor coming to say, are you aware you are talking to Governor Sanwo-Olu? If I hear that, do you know why?
I really don't blame them. It's Olamide that started this trend by saying, first of all, introduction.
But you know, there's also a video that circulated earlier on that showed the current FCT minister where he had called some landowners and he was telling them in public to shut up. He said, keep quiet. You shut up, keep quiet.
And you remember? I remember that. I know where you're going to. Traditional chiefs. I said, and he said, you are nodding. Fake. It's fake. You put on those mandatory. You that used to wear t-shirt and run around the neighborhood. Fake.
Even as you have been
traditional rulers, so it means
he has no
regardless of what institution. Imagine that guy going back to his subject as a king. And then they say that they had rubbish. King will get crowned.
Even we journalists, we don't collect too. On YouTube, Lillian Oloha says, Wike has met his match. He thinks military is like those journalists from different media organizations who gather every month and being bullied by Wike because they always go to collect brown envelope. Hey!
But we would correct that. No. It's not. There's no brown envelope there. Let's make it clear.
Lillian, why now?
Let's clear it. So Lillian, let's clear it. What happens is Wike apparently is the only minister in this country that has held more press pally than any other, even more than the president. Because I remember during the military regime, you would have the late President Abacha who would address the country and so on. But since then, we've not had any other president. I stand to be corrected apart from President Olusegun Obasanjo.
Obasanjo
was engaging. Who was engaged? Where President Muhammadu Buhari, the late president,
had to force him to engage.
There was no way. And the current president, we all know, it's just only on State of the Nation addresses on particular days. So Lillian, Wike has decided, the FCT minister decided to say, let me change the narrative. Let me give you update on what I'm doing. He's the only minister who has celebrated roads, always cutting ribbons. He's the only minister commissioning. He's the only minister who has... So when he calls the media, yes, let's call it a spade in the sense that the media's presence would have to warrant some form of airtime. You cannot have it for free. No station would burn diesel. But in terms of envelope, no.
I think you just need to correct the narrative at which you talk to people.
Let me say it here. I'm sure he's going to call for another press.
Of course.
He'll call for another one. And I really hope he will apologize to that poor king that said he dressed like Usman Danfodio.
No.
Just to mention that, like I said at the start of the show, every Nigerian has a right to dignity of human person. And in the way that Nyesom Wike spoke to that officer, he stripped him of his right to dignity of human person. You can't be calling him a fool and for what? Did he insult you? Just because he said, I'm standing on orders, right? We must learn as well. Like I said again, this generation is not like the generation of our grandparents that you insult them and talk down at them and expect them to, they will talk.
Even this military issue, yesterday I was on the golf course and I had to play with 2 retired officers. Interestingly,
sir, don't be winning them too much.
Don't play small.
No, interestingly, this last one I had to be the champion. So that one, is given. When you play, you play. But one thing that I found interesting is there is this elderly man that has retired. He's a past captain, and this other one just retired. And I hear him saying, "My Oga." I was thinking he was going to. So I now observe that there is this hierarchy. They respect themselves, even in retirement.
Okay.
They respect one another. So we must definitely, and they always listen to the last order
from their boss.
Then they hear go, then they hear come.
They're not the hear come. So you must understand when you say, I am acting on, whether the order is right, he has no order to say, oh God, this thing you are sending me to, I don't think it's logical, except he wants to face the consequence. So he acts first. That's the way the
obey before
complain. That's the way they are trained, and we must learn. That's why a lot of people that relate to them now come with that emotional intelligence, because you can imagine if it is our mother sister agency, then go tear fire that yesterday with the way that person was talking down on it.
And then whoever was the person that did the first push, because I saw a video from someone on Wike's team pushing,
and the guy had to, and the other guy say Azwaya for his team. Because when that guy was pushed, he pushed the other officer.
And that could have easily escalated. It could have easily escalated. The statement about killing everyone, I don't think that was necessary. It was very inappropriate.
That was not also a statement that should be made in a
spade. What we can all agree on is that matter could have been handled better if emotional maturity was involved, if emotions were in check, and he had no right to insult him in the way that he did. He can take it up with his superior and deal with it in a professional manner, not come down to the level of exchanging words with someone who was not even exchanging words with him.
Made a statement on his Facebook criticizing the conduct of the honorable.
Let me also.
Those who are calling for the young man to be fired.
Why?
They say that he was disrespectful to an honorable minister. That it was basically breaking the chain of command. I do not agree.
Let me also use this opportunity to plug this in very quickly. November is also the month for men, which
International Men's Month.
Yes, exactly.
November 19th in particular is International Men's Day.
And the whole month of November has been termed to be Movember. It's a movement. And one highlight is mental health. So there are two things I looked at this from yesterday night, and I said to myself, that army officer,
Navy officer,
I beg your pardon, who's been applauded as a hero, has families who were looking up to him in that scene. I'm sure, I don't know if he's married, but imagine if his wife watched how the minister called him a fool.
A big fool.
Or even your child.
Or your child, or he has children, and he said,
you're right.
They called daddy a fool. If I were the son, I'll be proud of my father then, because daddy said, I am not a fool. I have a child. I didn't give birth. My father didn't give birth to a fool. And he made it clear there and then. It is not disrespect.
It is
sometimes we think somebody says, are you mad? No, I'm not mad. It's not, I'm telling you, no, I'm not mad. It's just a clear response, I'm not mad. And imagine what that would do to his mental health. Not just him. Now let's fact check. What it would do to his colleagues in the Navy that were watching. The institution, they'll be like, wait,
so
have we degenerated so badly that ministers will now talk bad on us and tell us that we are fools?
And don't forget, these are the same set of people you are sending
to go and fight. Do you get? Can you see how deep it is?
I want to quickly head to YouTube and also read a few comments about the story before we move on to another one. In response to the Wike and journalist saga and Lillian's comment, she's giving a follow-up. And Benga, she's directed this one at you. She first says, why are they not asking him the right questions? Aborowa, you journalists know how to cover yourselves, what say the way it is when officers are involved. Just to mention that even on this show, there have been particular ones where we criticize the manner in which the questioning has happened. So no, when something is done wrongly, we call it out. Mokunye Chukwemeka says, loved what the fine officer did. Wike had no right to order him around. Wike did call the officer superior, and if he was wrong, he would have left the scene immediately. That's what Mokunye Chukwemeka says. Akpen Donato says that Wike is power drunk. And we must again recognize and remind ourselves from this that the quality of leaders are a huge reflection on the people. So you cannot be at the forefront in the president's cabinet and not carry yourself a certain way. You cannot be there and threaten people a certain type of way. I'm hoping that this will be addressed. Larry Olayinka has released one lengthy
two
on X.
Hopefully we can get him on tomorrow.
He's giving. I saw the photograph of him. At the venue taking pictures and all. It looks like. Anyway, people were dragging him for that. I'm actually looking for his.
Maybe to the producers. Let's try and get.
I'm looking for his tweets.
Tomorrow.
Maybe I'll read it. But there was a tweet he put out on X explaining what had happened and giving sort of
They said they were intimidated.
A press release. Meanwhile, you must bear in mind that this is the same Wike and the same FCT minister that, okay, yes, it's here. It says, Wike condemns military takeover of Abuja land, orders halt to illegal development, says former naval chief behind encroachment and vows to resist intimidation. They can intimidate Wike. It says Minister of the FCT, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has condemned the alleged illegal takeover of a disputed land in Abuja by military personnel reportedly acting on the orders of a former chief of naval staff, describing the act as lawless and unacceptable. Wike, who personally visited the site on Tuesday after receiving reports that soldiers had driven away FCTA officials enforcing development control directives, said no individual, no matter their former position, will be allowed to intimidate government authorities or obstruct enforcement of the law. You are aware that the land, and this is a quote, you are aware that the land departments and the development control have the mandate to monitor illegal development and land grabbing, the minister said. When this was brought to my attention, I instructed them to ensure that nothing takes place there, as there were no legal documents, no regional approval, no valid acquisition. According to Wike, while officials of the Department of Development Control were on site to implement his directive, they were chased away by armed soldiers, allegedly acting under the instruction of a retired senior officer. Now, he goes back to quote, I was informed that the soldiers of the military had to chase them away and I thought they were acting illegally, Wike said. Today, while I was in the office, I was called again that the military had taken over the place. I had to come myself to see things. It's really unfortunate. He expressed shock that a person who once held a top military position could resort to such intimidation rather than follow due process. Go back to quote again. I'll skip and says, Wike also disclosed that when the FCTA officials demanded documents to justify the occupation, none was produced. The Director of Development Control said, bring the documents, they don't have them. Bring approval for building, they don't have it. How can we continue to allow lawlessness to prevail? What about those who don't have the military behind them? What about ordinary Nigerians? The minister maintained that the FCT administration will not tolerate the misuse of military power to obstruct legitimate urban regulation, stressing that the rule of law must apply to all. And he confirmed his commitment to restoring order and accountability in Abuja's land administration.
So he didn't address the insult?
Outburst, no. Yeah. So, and this is to say that they're speaking to the illegality of it. And he's saying that it's not like he just came there. He had already said his officials were there. Yeah. They chased the officials, and then they called him to let him know that the military was there. So he came to see if he could use his superior authority to resolve the situation.
And my own perspective to that is that the Minister of FCT knows the concerned officer who owns that property, who they claim as. There are levels at which the top-notch. Your MD here, if he has something to do with a senior officer of a different organization, and he has sent Joe there to do something, and you are giving him a feedback, I'm sure he will not go there in person. He will call. And there are levels at which these high network people relate with one another.
And even if he's going there physically, he's not going to, and I like that example you gave. So let's imagine a TV anchor here has an issue with another TV anchor, and sort of it's involving our bosses. Our boss is not going to meet that TV anchor to say this is it. He will call the boss of that TV anchor. And they will talk. Or if he has to go physically, he will go to the TV anchor's boss's office or apartment,
not this anchor
at the high level.
Yeah. It will be high level conversation, and you will resolve that matter. This issue of saying breed illegality is against the law, I will tell you, you should wait though. After 4 years of existence, you read the story of declaring Team Silver wanted,
yes.
Because, and we all know what happened. They all have their records that they have. When they play Wike own for him, he will be shocked after leaving the office. So that's why you must trend with caution. There are ways that they always but I feel that it's emotional intelligence.
And those
when you are high up there, you must relate with the superior. If you have called either the CDS and say, these are the challenges my team faced when I actually commissioned them. This is the person and person in question. I've been trying to reach him. He's not actually picking my call or not open to conversation. Can you prevail on this particular matter? He needs not to. As far as I'm concerned, is this derogatory to him. leaving that place yesterday.
And stooping so low to be doing this.
To be doing that.
And where the senior person doesn't agree, there's a proper way for dispute resolution in our country, which is the court of competition.
You go to the
you take them to court and debate the legality of that land. And you resort to exchanging.
Let's look at
Let's go to the next paper.
Let's look at Daily Trust. I want you to touch on this very quickly. No going back on PDP convention. No going back on convention. PDP says this is another problem. The Abuja, a court in Abuja says you can go ahead. Another court from the same FCT minister's wing rushed to court, and they say the faction says no. They get a court injunction that says they cannot continue. Remember, prior to that, there was a case of the same FCT minister's faction did come out to say, Damagum, you are no longer the national chairman. Another court came out and said Damagum is the what is
this court mentioned, Joe,
what is going
on?
The
court that said that they're not allowed to do the election was sometime last week, right?
Yeah.
Then there was Oyo State High Court that said, oh, they can go ahead. Then yesterday again, Federal High Court in Abuja then says again.
Says you can't.
And that prior to these three is like going to shop right.
Lillian, you're not going to like this one. Lillian, help us and answer now. Because I know Lillian is my learned colleague. So
what is going on?
Help us and answer what's going on.
You see,
what is going on?
Law is not like accounts where we actually know what the figure looks like and you know the end result. But in law, you can start from this area and end on the other aspect of it. And I think NJC needs to just prevail on this matter, where judges are actually on the same matter, giving a counter, judgments and creating confusion.
It's a lot of confusion.
In the midst of all this. I think we should have our grandstand to say this is the way to go. Because I imagine, like you said at the beginning, 3 days to go. We don't have clarity of what it looks like. So if there are no preparation and the court says, after today, go ahead and do that particular thing. Definitely, you will not be struggling to have effective convention that will be. The other side of it is, if you are saying this will go on, you must have invested some funds into making sure that the convention happen the way it should be. And you now come on the 15th, they say that cannot happen, possibly one side, outweigh the other. That means you have wasted some funds the way it is. Pardon me, as a finance person, it's always fun area I concentrate on. We leave the law for.
You are the money man.
We leave the law for
the lawyers.
For the lawyers, like my sister to handle. But we should look at some of these things. Lawyers should be sensitive that when you are planning this kind of a thing, funds are involved, and the organization needs to be effective. If you don't have a clear cut of what it looks like, as of today, we don't know whether it will or it will not. Today, somebody say, you said, as of yesterday, they said it should not hold.
Yes. First of all, it was Justice Omotosho in October 2025 that said it will not hold. They said, oh, Justice Omotosho is a political judge. This one, that one. Then they got Ibadan judgment where the court said it should hold. Now, Justice Lifu has said the same thing in the Federal High Court Abuja, that it cannot hold and that INEC cannot supervise it. So if they go ahead and do this convention, will that not be...
The results will be...
No, but is it not contempt? The court has, has given a judgment.
Clearly what I'm just saying is that by today, by the close of business today,
they will get another
court.
So what happens when these two courts of coordinate?
And now we are saying that the NJC
gave an injunction a day before the convention. That's the one they will follow.
And the one that gave at the midnight of the convention, you will discover that there can be an injunction by 11:59 p.m.
Just to say it clearly for our viewers who are watching, it's not a case of one being either, I'm looking for the grammar to use, maybe bewildered or confused. But even we as journalists, when we see things like this, it worries us, because at the end of the day, you are writing an article, you are deliberating on this issue before you finish, and then you ask yourself, what is the rule of law? We've seen many people discuss rule of law in articles, in writings, and people are saying, we've never seen it like this before.
Olive, there's a reason why you went to law school. I mean, you have the floor.
No. Let's yield the floor to our YouTube. No, one of our viewers is a lawyer. Lillian, I know her. Please let us know. I see her comments a lot, and I remember the name definitely because she's reacted to a lot of the legal matters we've had to. So what do we do in this case? What should we expect in terms of the two courts of coordinate jurisdiction giving different judgments.
Different judgments.
And what should we expect?
Only God can judge.
Let's wrap things up. We have just 2 minutes to go, Mr. Nyesom. I would like you to just touch on this story. 48 hours to World Cup playoff, Super Eagles boycott training. I don't know if you've been following that.
Gabon.
If you haven't, I can give you another story.
Hotel matters.
Okay, let me move to the other one. Travelers spend hours on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
Again.
You see, I was in the one that happened, was it last week or last 2 weeks? Thursday. I was actually coming from the golf course, and I spent 6 hours.
Wow.
Between Ikeja and Magodo.
What?
6 solid hours. Unfortunately for me, my driver was not around that
You should
day.
have just stayed in the club.
In fact, you know, my wife was saying, stay back. I said, no, let me just come home. The traffic is heavy, but I will beat it maybe in the next 1 hour. And imagine leaving the club around 5 and getting home past 11. The next day it was horrible. So, and you know, my concern is some of these issues are problems that we can avert. The law enforcement agency, you see rickety, most of the time we go after private vehicles. Leave some of these trucks. They will leave some of these containers that create this menace on the road. Will leave Apapa Port. Are there no people monitoring the functionality? You talk about
no
the
lights, no brake lights,
to show.
nothing.
Even the
Not
brake
properly
is not
strapped.
functioning. The container that is not properly. Any slightest thing, they kill innocent people on the road. And I keep asking myself, how far are we going to
VI
go
will
with this
be
kind of
running
things?
after, and then we are talking tint permit.
You know, so I think the concerned agency, they should not just come and apprehend them on the road. From the source, we should address it. If your vehicles are not in proper shape to move, don't leave area where you need to
Isn't that
keep some
what
of those things.
roadworthiness is supposed to do?
But you know roadworthiness now, that's why we keep saying
Sir,
that
we're
the rules.
playing Gabon tomorrow. Our World Cup chances are on the line. The Super Eagles are in Morocco as we speak.
They've not been paid.
And they haven't been
They said even the AFCON promises
and,
have not been
are
given.
they holding Nigerians to ransom? Should they not just do it for their country? Was it not Abraham Lincoln that said, don't ask what you can do for your country,
Ask
but
what
what
your
your country?
country
And
can
their
do for
country
you.
has put them in a nice hotel in Morocco.
Okay, the fact remains that the way our government make commitment to people without actually fulfilling it is what is happening here. You see a lot of people, most of the time they will sign with NUT, with medical association and the likes. And when it's time to implement, it becomes a problem. The euphoria of the winning and say, we are giving you all this. And those people have already, in fact, do you know the number of family members that will be hanging on them to say, they've given you $100,000, or where is our court? And all those kind of a thing. Now, you are just looking blank, as if nothing is going to happen. The only language, like they will always say, the same way association we owe the government to ransom by going on strike is what they are displaying. And if on this level, the government cannot have a common ground, then that means that
Do you think it will have an effect on their performance?
It will definitely, when you are not motivated, if you are not motivated on this
No, it's not motivated. The talent is Osimhen versus Gabonese players.
But the motivation must be there now.
If Osimhen no chop, I go
take play. The motivation must be there. You must be excited. If you wake up in the morning and you are not yourself and you are coming on this, let me tell you, viewers will know and ask, Joe, what happened to you?
You're right.
You are not yourself.
I'm myself today. That's why I'm firing on all cylinders.
So, and there are days that people will ask you that. So it's motivation. It may not be the finance that is motivating you. It might just be a word that will pat you on the back and give it to them.
I need to go to South Africa.
We need to wrap up, but I must take...
I'm not motivated.
Okay. I need to take these comments from Lillian Onoha. She's clarified that she says, I don't support conflicting court judgments. So, and we hear you on that. We don't support it, but we don't even know what the next steps are.
Our legal commenter.
Our legal commenter. In fact, we have to make our official legal analyst. Then Mokuye Chukwuemeka is our first position. Yeah, if I want to give top 3, Mokuye Chukwuemeka, Annie Chinedu Brown, Lillian Onoha. Thank you so much, guys. You always
thank you, Mr. I wish we can have you tomorrow again.
And good luck to the Super Eagles, even though I hope the NFF will be able to sort this out.
They hope. They have a timer.
The World Cup.
They have time. They have to keep
Mexico,
the time.
Canada, and the US.
Let's start with AFCON in Morocco.
It's true.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, guys, for watching.
And 7 p.m., remember, tune in 7 p.m. for the part 2 of the interview with Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo. We'll be back again tomorrow. Au revoir.
No shout out.
Bye. No,
shout
shout
out
out.
to you. You too, no shout out.